Good afternoon to everyone, and especially good afternoon to our attendees from India, and good morning to all our attendees from Europe. My name is Samrat Kumar. I am the country representative of Euraxis India, and on behalf of the delegation of the European Union to India and the Department of Biotechnology, we would like to welcome you to this very exciting and interesting networking event under the Horizon 2020 Green Deal call. Today's topic is farm to fork. And before we go straight into the program, I would like to share with you a few webinar rules for today. So you have the possibility to post your questions in the chat, please. And we will answer the questions after the end of each session. But please bear in mind that due to time constraints, not all questions will be answered. If your particular question has not been answered, please contact us, the organizers, after the event. If you face any technical issues like audio or video is not clear, please try to, it's possible to log out and log in again. Please don't worry about the presentations. We will send you a follow-up email with all the presentations of today's speakers, plus also the recording of this webinar. So you can actually very much relax and listen into the presentations. We will also ask you for your feedback about this networking event in the follow-up email. And if you are interested to partner in this funding call, then please, you can contact the presenters directly, or we can also help you to facilitate to get in contact with them. So without any further delay, I would like to welcome our main speakers today, Ms. Tanja Friedrichs. She's the counselor, the head of the Research Innovation section at the delegation of the European Union to India. Dr. Amit Parikh, he's at the Department of Biotechnology, responsible for international cooperation with the EU. And of course, Dr. Vivek Dham, Senior Advisor at the Research Innovation section as well, who will be leading you through this specific call today. Tanja, I would like you to say some opening remarks to our attendees. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Of course, I'm very happy to welcome you all on this event. As you said, this is a great event. Allow me to thank you in particular, Samrat, Euraxis, for the co-organization. You've been able to help us in reaching out to your very important network of scientists and innovators. And of course, my two dearest colleagues, the one from the section, Vivek Dham, and also Dr. Amit Parikh. You already said it, this is a very important event. Let me underline why this is so important by giving you the policy context of that initiative, which will help, I hope, but all the scientists, innovators that are connected today, also to understand better the scope of this call, what we are after, what we are calling upon, and so you can prepare your submissions accordingly. So first of all, this series of calls, of proposals that we are having under the EU Framework Programme for Research and Innovation, Horizon 2020, grouped under Farm to Fork, is part of an overall policy strategy from the European Union that has pledged when we started our new European Commission in November 2019 to make Europe carbon neutral by 2050. And that requires a lot of efforts. This is not only from what one would think the classical contributions of less emissions through different or renewable energy and other measures to change, but it is impressive and amazing how much the way we produce our food do contribute to higher emissions, and therefore the need to change the way we produce food, the way we use the water, the land use, and also the way we produce food that has an impact and endangers biodiversity. In other words, when we made that political commitment with the European Commission to say we need a strategy here for the coming years, it was this pledge to make Europe carbon neutral by 2050. And Vivek, in one of his very first slides, of where, in which policy context to place this research that we are organizing, will show you the different dimensions of this European Green Deal. But as I said, it is not only the classical topics of climate change and renewable energy, also the transport, the farm to fork, the need to understand also the biodiversity. And so more immediately then, to underpin our policy objective at European level, we also said that we will not achieve these targets without increased efforts on research and innovation. And that is why we could get all the money that we still had under Horizon 2020 and that other programs had to give up to invest in research and innovation, to launch a last work program of the Horizon 2020 research and innovation program to underpin the different areas of the Green Deal. And one important area is indeed everything that has to do with farm to fork. And we have said that we will not achieve our objectives without increased efforts on research and innovation, but also not without increased and better coordinated efforts at international level. This whole package, of course, has also to be seen to comply with, to which the European Union and India very much adhere to, is the compliance of the Sustainable Development Goals. And we have that has several commitments, but one of them is, of course, to alleviate poverty, or it's to save our planet. And through the better production of the food, we can also contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals. The third thing is that in this number of research and innovation calls that we have under that last work program, recognizing the importance of international cooperation, we were very lucky and pleased, and thank you very much to Dr. Amit Parik's efforts, that India has agreed to co-fund a large number of calls under this last package. And today, that is what we will do. We will present the calls that are co-funded by the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, in our Horizon 2020 calls. Those are joint common proposals, so it's important to also know and learn about the modalities, and that is what Vivek and also Amit will do. But equally important in participating in the submission of a call to the Horizon 2020 is to understand the political background. What do we want? And for these calls, we are very specific of what we want. We want quick results, innovative results, results that will impact, and that we can show to our citizens that investment in research is worth doing because it will save our planet and our lives. And we will shift to a healthier diet, and we will not only concentrate on COVID-19, but also, because that is also a problem these days, but indirectly, it may also help to combat pandemics, because we will also tackle the biodiversity. So policy context, extremely important. The specific modalities of a joint proposal, also very important. And then most importantly is your contribution to these objectives. Without you, scientists, innovators, thank you for registration for this webinar. We can't do it. And the pandemic again has shown that more than ever, we need the scientists, we need technology, we need entrepreneurship, we need solutions to the problems that we are facing, whether it's COVID, whether it's greening the economy, whether it's digital, whether it is to recover also from the crisis that the pandemic has created. So thank you for your participation. Enjoy the session. I will certainly listen. I'm very interested to see what you have already in mind to contribute to our proposals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanya, for stressing the importance of especially this call and also the, how important it is that the scientists have to come together to find the solutions to these challenges which we're facing, only COVID-19, but also others, biodiversity, the sustainability of our planet, and so forth. I would now like to ask Dr. Vivek and Dr. Amit to start their session telling us the scope of this call, the details, and how to participate and what applicants need to know. Vivek, are you going to share your screen or is it?
No, let Amit ji first say a few words about the DBTs if you want, and then I can switch on to the presentation, please. Amit ji.
Vivek ji will do, basically, you start, you please proceed further. And okay. When my turn is going to come, I'll explain some of the expectations as well then. Right?
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Your screen is visible, Vivek.
Yeah, okay. So, because I'm not able to see my screen, that is the, okay.
Yeah.
Are you able to see a full screen or
full screen? Full screen.
It's a full screen, yeah.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to Indian participant and good afternoon to the European, good morning to the European participant. First of all, let me thank on behalf of organizing committee, overwhelming number of registrations. So we are really thankful for that. Today, we are going to give a presentation on European Green Deal called 2020, co-funded by DBT, and the focus area is farm to fork. So this is a joint presentation by European delegation. So myself and Tanya from EU side and Dr. Amit Parekh from DBT side. So in this presentation, we will be having three segment. One is focusing on the policy context. The second is on call details, and third is the modalities of cooperation and the application. So before I go into the details, I just wanted to give what Tanya had already given a foundation, that this European Green Deal is basically one of the 6 priorities the new commission had set up in last year. And it is a very high priority area, and to implement that priority, because it targets the carbon neutrality of Europe continent by 2050, how do we go for that ambitious target? So the Commission had launched the research and innovation as a step forward. Any futuristic industry or application will need a research and innovation as an implementation tool. So under the Horizon 2020, this particular call has been launched. So the call is already open. So on 18th of September, all the 20 calls are open, and you can see on the Horizon and website as well as the DBT website. The main difference between this call and normally the Horizon does carries, but in this particular call, they specifically emphasize that the calls are aiming at greening the economy, tangible results, impact for citizens in very short time. And these calls are open to the world because the Europe also acknowledge and recognize that their targets, their ambitions will not be fulfilled or will not be feasible unless and until their success is also synchronized and also with the other parts of the world. And that is why the international dimension is very important in this particular call. And I'm very glad that the government of India, DBT, had identified the 5 different calls which are of mutual interest. So as already mentioned by Tanya, that the Green Deal has the different actions already defined. There are 8 vertical actions, and there are horizontal cross-cutting three actions. So farm to fork is basically the heart of European Green Deal. It aims to establish fair, healthy, environmental friendly food, sustainable food system. So the overall aim, as I already mentioned, these calls are looking more to demonstrate research and innovation can provide solutions for the Green Deal priorities. How do we do that? By pilot application, demonstration projects. So please remember, these are very high-ended projects. We are looking into some kind of a concrete solutions which later on can be absorbed into the market. So innovation for better governance and greening the digital transformation and value chain. What does mean better governance and digital transaction and social so because these are making a complete shift in the technologies and the way we are going to have the new solutions. So the behavior, the absorption capacity of those citizens needs to be monitored and adapted. So this whole thing, the whole project should look into the entire, from producer to the consumer, the value chain, the entire value chain needs to be addressed to increase the impact and visibility. These are in number of calls are limited, and they have a substantial funding of 1 billion euros, which is something 8,600 crore rupees, equivalent to, if I make the distinction. So then which calls are co-funded by DBT? These are available on the DBT website, but today's focus in area 6, that is farm to fork, which is testing and demonstrating systematic innovation in support of farm to fork strategy. So before I go into the strategy, because the entire call is very much driven and inspired from the Green Deal strategy, and I advise and I recommend strongly to all the participants to look into this EU Green Deal farm to fork strategy, because I'm going to give you just a background of farm to fork strategy, because this will be helpful for you to identify the problems, find the solution, and address exactly the challenges which has been defined in the call proposal. The farm to fork is one of the key elements of the European Green Deal. It addresses comprehensively the challenges of sustainable food system by recognizing the close links between the healthy people, healthy planet, and healthy society. So the strategy is the center to the Commission agenda to achieve United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, so-called SDGs. All citizens and people and business in the food system, in the value chain, should benefit from a just transition, especially in the aftermath of COVID-19, which already Tanya had mentioned, and economic downturn. So the farm to fork strategy is needed for green recovery from this unprecedented crisis, ensure food security and long-term resilience of food system. So this is what the core of this entire farm to fork strategy is, because sustainability is a growth strategy. If you are looking what the citizens are asking to the governance and the scientists is how we demand the nutrient food supply, and how healthy and production is respected our planet. So this is the core of this farm to fork strategy. So I advise all the people to look into this strategy, because this is just a new beginning, and there is plenty of scope for consultation and discussions with different stakeholders. So basically, this is this presentation. I will brief you overview of why it is needed, what is the goal and target of this action. So if you look at the overarching goal of this farm to fork strategy is we need to create a sustainable food system. So the sustainable food system should be sustainable in all three dimensions, that is economic, environmental, and social. These three dimensions, as you see in this slide, they include different aspects and all are equally important. So for example, economic dimension, it includes aspects such as job, income, fair share, and value added to the farmers and fishermen. For the second social dimension, it includes healthier diet for rural and coastal areas, better animal welfare, and quite important, ensuring a just transition, especially for those concerned by the transition to the sustainable systems. So if you look at the third aspect, the third dimension, which is the environmental aspect, it implies a food system which is in harmony with the environment, which includes, for example, lower green gas emission, which also lowers the zero pollution and enhance the diversity. This is what the three dimensions needs to be taken into consideration. So this is overarching goals of this farm strategy. But there are also four specific goals and objectives of this strategy, which you can see from the slide, that the aim of this is reduce the environmental and climate footprint of the food system. That is the first goal. The second is to leading global transition towards competitive sustainable farm to fork strategy, and tap into the new opportunities and create a robust and resilient food system, and also ensure food security in face of climate change and biodiversity loss. So these are the specific four goals which the Commission had mentioned in the strategy document, but it also indicates very ambitious targets. If you look at these targets, so we talk about the objectives now, the four targets which by 2030. So the first target is which focus on pesticides. Okay, the chemical pesticides, we need to reduce 50% of chemical pesticides and 50% more than hazardous pesticides. So the first challenge is related to chemicals and pesticides. The second one concerns nutrient loss and fertilizers. So reduce the nutrient loss by at least by 50% while ensuring no deterioration of soil fertility, as well as using fertilizers less than 20%. Reduction of antimicrobials is another target, almost in animal as well as aquatic systems by 50%. And the last one is organic farming and organic aquaculture. So these are the targets which has been defined by this. But I just mentioned these are the quantifiable target, but the farm to fork also includes other targets that have been not have been quantified, such as promotion of healthy and sustainable food composition, consumption, importance of animal welfare, promotion of sustainable packing solutions. These are non-quantifiable targets as well. So please look into this strategy document, because it will help you to prepare your proposal accordingly. Now let's dive into the actual call. I guess we all believe we are gathered for that, and I'm just going to declutter or give you some kind of keywords, because it has so much of information and substance into this call. Is very difficult to present everything in such a short time. So what we are trying to give is just an keywords which can bring your attention and create an appetite between the research community. So the call title is following the testing and demonstrating systematic innovations in support of farm to fork strategy. This is an innovation action which has an indicative budget of 74 million euros. I specifically take out this line from the Green Deal call, which is very relevant to this particular topic. We need to deliver tangible, visible result relatively quickly and show how research and innovation can provide concerned solutions to the global Green Deal main priorities. So this is what very tangible information, the results-oriented calls and the technologies we are looking into it. So this is highly important for the farm to fork strategy, which aiming and target achieving its results by 2030. So it will, so we are looking into the proposals which are, can take the outcome to the market and also have monitored and new behavioral change are also taken into the consideration. So we are looking the whole chain, the value chain into this. So if you see, we need to demonstrate early enough real and particular solutions that can roll out the big scale across the different regions and different food systems. So this is the challenge the call has given to the innovators and the researchers. So as I already explained the three elements related to this topic, the first one which I will explain is the specific challenge of the call. Later on, I will explain the scope of the topic, and third is expected impact. So if you look at before I go to this the call, I wanted to explain you this call is divided in six topics, six topics, and you have to address a project need to address one of the following. Please note one of the following, not all together or not combining two or more. It has to be have one of the following challenge. The subtopic one is first is on climate neutral farming. Second is on climate neutral food businesses. The third is reducing the dependency on contaminant pesticides, increase the efficiency of fertilizers, and the reduction of loss of nutrients from the fertilizers towards zero pollution. The fourth subtopic is focused on reduce dependency on the use of antimicrobials in animal production and in aquaculture. So animal as well as the aquaculture, both together. Subtopic 5 is focus on reducing the food loss and waste while also having an unsustainable packing. And the sixth topic is shifting to the sustainable healthy diets. So these are the six subtopics which a team can individually address one of the topic. So going to the, coming to the specific challenge, because if you see this challenge needs and different stakeholders to address, because we are looking into the entire value chain. So you need to bring into a different people, because the challenge is to feed a growing world population and bring food system with a safe and just operating space, encompassing planetary health, economic viability, and social welfare, including the human health. The figure itself, which indicates, which had shown that 20% food waste is in Europe, because that is a huge amount. 29% of the total green gas emission comes caused by the food system, and 1 in 5 adults in Europe are obese. So another, the specific challenge is because it has three dimensions, which I already mentioned: social, environmental, and economic. So the challenges are in a different aspects and different dimensions, which you need to address on. You can imagine the topic already has a lot of challenges. So the three dimensions which we already explained. The first one is social sustainability. So the topic should take a notation from healthy diet, because I already mentioned the obesity is one of the main concern in Europe, and not only Europe but globally. So that needs to tackle as early as possible. So also the animal welfare is also important aspect to be considered in a sustainable, social sustainable model. So the environmental sustainability, well, many current products, practices, and consumption patterns still result in air, water, and soil pollution. They contribute to the loss of biodiversity as well as climate change, and it leads to have a more consumption of excessive amount of natural resources, including water and energy. So when you are looking into this particular aspect, please pay attention to this aspect. You can see there is a small b into the figure. So what it indicates that basically the honeybees, that is the pesticides, have been shown that negative effect pollinators population. Excessive use of pesticide had really affected the population of pollinators, which has a great impact on contribution of EU agriculture output as well. So this kind of a things, the topic aim to address the terms of sustainability if you are considering it. The last one is economic sustainability, because this topic should tackle the following issues fairly, like a fair income for the farmers, fishermen and agriculture producers, new businesses, and also create a new job opportunities. A transition, a just transition for all the actors of the food system should be also considered. So that is the challenge which we are focusing into it. So what we need is really efforts to test, demonstrate, and scale up the innovation systematic solutions. Because when I'm talking about innovation systematic solutions, this is a very key word for the entire topic. The systematic innovation system, innovation, system thinking, and system approach. Because we are not looking into one technology or one aspect of solutions. We want to have an entire chain of solutions from primary producers to the consumers. So this needs to be tackled, this needs to be addressed. So when you are preparing a consortium, you need to have a different cross-sectoral approach, multidisciplinary approach, and different backgrounds of people from academia, industry. You also need to people from farmers, farm organizations, policymakers. So because this, we are looking into the approach, it's quite a holistic approach. So when you are looking into this, in-depth systematic analysis of what is driving force, what are the root cause you need to understand or you need to tackle. That is the scope which we are anticipating from the call. Assess the impact, risk, and synergy and trade-off with regards to sustainability. Because this is something, the food nutrient security and safety and objectives to be outlined in, which is already outlined in a farm to fork strategy, and it should contribute to that. As I already mentioned, this multi-actor, multi-sectoral approach is needed, and different people, solutions from primary producers, retailers, consumers, public and private institutions, citizens should be involved. And all this needs to be included into these three dimensions of sustainability. So what we are looking into the proposal, that the proposal should test, pilot, and demonstrate the innovative systematic solutions, which starts from TRL level 5. Please note TRL level, we are not looking much into the basic research, something which is already in a laboratory scale environmental demonstration is already ready. So that level onwards, and we wanted to end up with something TRL level 7. So this is something which is very ambitious proposals we are looking into. In a first subtopic, what we are looking into, climate neutral farming by reducing greenhouse gases. That is the main core of the proposal should look into that or should address. The second subtopic is achieving climate neutral food businesses by mitigating climate change, reducing energy use, and increasing energy efficiency. That is what is anticipated to address in this challenge. The proposal, which is targeting on subtopic 3, which reduce dependency on hazardous pesticides, reducing the loss of nutrients on fertilizers towards zero pollutions of water, soil, and air. That is what we are looking in subtopic 3. In subtopic 3 or 4, we are more focused on reducing the dependency on use of antimicrobials in animal and in aquaculture. So I underline and because we wanted to have both together. The fifth one is reducing food loss and waste at every stage of food chain, including consumption while also unsustainable packing. So that is the core of this fifth topic. And the last one, but not the least, we are looking into shifting to the sustainable healthy diet. Not only the Euro, but across different groups of vulnerable groups. So, as I already mentioned, when these are quite ambitious projects, you should most likely look into the most appropriate mix of innovations, because we are looking into innovations, novel and digital technologies could be integrated, New business and supply chain models could be added into this project proposal. New governance models, ecological and innovation and social innovations could be considered. So if that is what the entire system thinking means, that making a synergy in a different components of the call. The last one, we are also, because this is relatively new dimension which we are bringing in, so dissemination and communication is highly encouraged. The calls are anticipated between 6 to 12 million euros, but you could go more than that, but Commission thinks that this could be the range which could address this proposal properly. The grant will be awarded to proposals according to the ranking list. The highest ranking proposals per subtopic will be funded, provided it attains all the thresholds. So it's all depend how much are the different funding requirement per topic. So it is directed per subtopic. You will have one project, and depending on additional budget, we will have additional number of projects into that. So coming to the last part, the impact, because this is an innovation action, it has an additional scoring point, additional weightage is given to the impact. So please pay a lot of attention while preparing to that. The first one is to demonstrating innovative systematic solutions that have potential to generate significant positive impact by 2030. So this is the target which we are looking into when you are preparing a project proposal. Make sure your solutions, your innovations will have an impact and which can be translated by 2030. All 6 subtopics should also aim to have provide sufficient, safe, nutrient and healthy and affordable food. They also needs overall sustainability for food system and to improve the resilience of food system for stocks and stresses. So that needs to be addressed, and that is the impact we are anticipating. As I already mentioned, this is something we are looking to address the objectives set under the farm to fork strategy. So you will make efforts that all the solutions or outcoming is related to that. Plus the government of India's missions are also should be considered if the Indians are participating. And the last one, because this increased awareness, this is completely a transformation of the entire thing. So you need to bring a different stakeholders awareness into that, which makes policymakers, business, innovators, institutions, citizens, because those are the ones who needs to take up the new challenge, the new technologies, and also needs to understand the behavioral change of the society. I will stop it here. This is the innovation action. 74 million is the overall budget of the call, 6 to 12 million per project. And the call deadline is 26 January 2021. DBT will fund as per the India's requirement of the project depending on the workload. I think I will hand over this presentation to Dr. Amit Parekh for further deliberations. Amitji, floor is yours.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Vivekji. There was a certain connection gap in between, and that's why I lost my connection as well. No issues. Thank you very much, Vivekji. It's an excellent trend setting and excellent scope explanation per se. Basically, I would like to emphasize few things before going into the details of modalities of participation per se. Being a DBT, basically our mandate is to support all the biological or life sciences related research and innovation actions per se. And basically green carbon neutral world is one of the basically main agenda of the Department of Biotechnology, and it's one of the very important pillar of the department, which is looking after the agriculture and complete allied areas aspects per se. So by basically what we expect from the investigators for this particular call is they should basically add significant value to basically India's strength and capacity what we have existing at the present moment. And these proposals must basically facilitate or contribute to the national missions. Take an example, the Green India one, or water missions, or doubling the farmer incomes, or Atmanirbhar Bharat. So these participation or these expectations are upfront being communicated, so that we have a clear picture from the start itself. Now coming to basically there is innovation action per se. It's restricted from TRL 5 to TRL 7, which means you are supposed to demonstrate your intervention or technology or process or developed products to the actual environment or industrially relevant environment. And yeah, definitely there is a scope for a kind of little bit of basic research per se, but then your main emphasis or your main action is going to be the innovation action, which is TLR 5 and above. Next slide, Vivekji. Yeah, thank you. So basically, I'm now going to explain the modalities of participation from India as well as from EU perspective per se. If you consider basically the EU requirement per se, we need minimum three legal organizations to participate, and from 3 different EU member states. We have 27 member states, and associated or basically mandatory countries per se, 16 associated countries. So out of these numbers, 3 legal organizations must be a part of the consortium per se. The number of participants from India in co-funded call is not restricted. So minimum one is obligatory for India's, but then there is no maximum limit. Any number of participants can participate in a particular consortium per se. So one public funded entity is obligatory for participating in this particular call from India perspective. There will be a combined proposal if Indian entities are interested to seek granting aid from Department of Biotechnology. They should come on board this way. There will be one European Union coordinator. Since Indian entities are going to participate as an international partner, they won't have this leverage to become a coordinator, and there are plenty of intricacies to become a coordinator, and there are plenty of targets and accomplishments to European Commission side as well as to Department of Biotechnology side. So it is better the job to be left with the European side per se. Who can participate per se? Indian side, public and private academia, research organizations, urban and local bodies can participate. From the non-government organization side, NGOs, voluntary organizations, trusts, and research foundations can participate. Even industry can very well participate in this particular Green Deal Call or Farm to Fork initiative. From Europe side, any legal entity, which can be a company, a big or small, research organizations, universities, non-governmental organizations, and so on, can become a part entity to participate in this call. The call is also open for other countries, those who are non-Europeans per se. And since the Horizon 2020 is known for open to the world, anyone, actually any legal entity from the world can join. Who is eligible from India? Basically, as mentioned earlier, public and private partnership, private practitioners in terms of academia, research organizations, local bodies can participate. They must show that they have a well-established research support system, and they must see these are some of the administrative requirements, and these requirements are very well explained in the modalities of participation documents. And these particular requirements are become a little bit of bottleneck kind of thing, where some of the requirements are not missing or not complied with. The eligibility of that particular entity can be it's a question for that particular entity to become a participant in this. With respect to non-government or not-for-profit organizations, they need to show at least 3 years of scientific research or teaching or training and extension activities. This is also the NGO development registration for these entities is absolutely obligatory, and it's without this entity will not become eligible if they don't have this NGO development registration. Similar way, in-house R&D registration is from DSIR is also very much necessary for NGOs or voluntary organizations to participate in this particular call or seeking the funds from Department of Biotechnology. Next slide, please. As mentioned earlier, industries can also very well chip in. The requirement is that it should be an Indian company registered under the Companies Act, wherein 51% of ownership, shareholding, or partnership conditions needs to be, needs to be with the resident Indian citizen. Similar way as mentioned in the case of NGOs, similar way here also there is a obligated requirement of in-house R&D registration from DSIR. This is basically Indian obligatory requirements. Other requirements are explained in the modalities of participation. Next slide, please. Yeah, academia, public or private, can get or can secure 100% grant-in-aid support. Industry can secure up to 1.5 crore of grant-in-aid. That means 50% of total cost, which should not go, from beyond 3 crores per se. So in these 3 crores, 1.5 crore must be borne by the industry, and they need to put forward that particular requirement upfront. They are going to contribute this much. SMEs and startups can also participate. They are eligible to secure 25 lakh rupees, 25 lakh INR for participating. They, in this, basically 80% can be a grant-in-aid. The rest one can be brought by the startup or SMEs directly that way. Next slide, please. Eligibility for, if you consider the European Union per se, the eligibility requirements that they, securing the European Union grant, applicant must be a member state from this 27 member states or 16 associated countries. Developing countries can also very well, secure their funding from the Horizon 2020 funding system. But there are certain exclusions. Take an example, the industrialized country, take an example of US, Canada, Australia, Japan are not basically eligible to secure directly funding. They need to bring their own funding from the national perspective. International European interested organizations can also very well secure funding from the European Union side itself. So since we have two considerations, the one consideration is the research and innovation action, and then another one is innovation action. So research and innovation, wherein for-profit or not-for-profit entities can secure 100% support. In the case of innovation action, for-profit entities can secure 70% of support from the European Union side. The rest 30% needs to, they need to bear the rest 30% of the cost of the project. Not-for-profit entities can again secure 100% contribution from support from the European Union side. Yeah, this is also one of the question from some of the UK participants, and they are very well eligible to participate in this particular Green Deal call per se, and that also for the Farm to Fork initiative. And they are very well participate in this joint initiative. Next slide, please. And now, this is also basically an important question many interested investigators raise, that how to form a consortium. So we need, if you consider the European Union side, 3 legal entities is obligatory, and these 3 legal entities can be from 27 member states or 16 associated countries. DBT encourages that more than one participant or one entity can come on board and form a consortium with EU coordinators or EU consortium members. But there is no specific restriction on the maximum numbers. But yeah, the public sector public sector entity is absolutely necessary. One public sector entity is absolutely necessary to become eligible for license. Since we are also looking for a multidisciplinary cross-border consideration, so other countries can also very well, and other investigators from other countries can also very well participate in this. And each proposal also need to take very cautious approach about gender balance as well. The assessment is also being, considered based on gender balances as well. And we welcome participation of SMEs and industry, and we do encourage that they come on board and reflect their actual contribution to the society. Now, basically, how to find partners. This is specifically meant, or you can say, for the Indian investigators per se, and you can use your own network. If you have already, certain consortium partners, you can, join hand with them and or explore all possible network accessibility. The European delegation also did certain brokerage events in the month of September, October, and you can glance through those brokerage events. They are also available. The what you can see, videos and saved events and details are also available on their website per se. There is a partner search platform tool is available. So if you glance through that, you can search. Just next to this, there are series of or list of interested parties can also be glance through this particular platform tool per se. You can approach your access. You can basically approach the regional offices where you can put forward your queries, and they can make you accessible to some of the interested parties from their side. How to prepare and submit a proposal. It's once again requested that kindly read the scope and call text very, very carefully. There are plenty of intricacies and plenty of requirements, and these requirements needs to be fulfilled if you are really would like to successful in eligibility criteria per se. So please read the call text, scope, as well as modalities of participation per se. You are also requested to be clear and explicit, because the evaluators are going to see that how much clarity and how much basically handholding you really put forward for a particular proposal. So you need to be very clear and explicit while putting forward your proposal for evaluation. So next slide, please. So how to prepare and submit a proposal. There are two separate budget line per se. The European Union has a separate budget line, and the Indian participant read a separate budget line. Though Indian participant needs to reflect their budget in European cost or euro as well in their the submission, but the DBT is as per the national requirement. DBT performer needs also to be submitted side by side. There will be one common proposal, and basically it should reflect the complete requirements, including the DBT's requirement per se. There will be electronic submission of the proposal, and the funder and tender portal is accessible for the EU coordinator. All investigators needs to register there, and based on that registration, they'll participate in a particular proposal. DBT, once the proposal is submitted to the European tender portal, the Euro coordinator is supposed to share the PDF version of that whole proposal, and which is to be transmitted to DBT via email by the Indian coordinator. Next slide, please. So this is basically how the peer review process is going to be. So once the proposal is submitted, Europe side as well as the DBT side will be basically entertaining a separate eligibility and admissibility check. So this is what I was mentioning, that there are plenty of bottlenecks and you need to be cautious about all the data requirement, all the registration requirement. So this eligibility and admissibility check is going to do that evaluation. Evaluation, then comes the evaluation by the experts. We'll be having a separate individual evaluations, and based on the individual evaluations outcome, there'll be a consensus meeting, and the final ranking of the consensus meeting is going to be communicated to the investigators, whether their proposal is successful or not. And this is what about the peer review evaluation process. Next slide. Yeah, so your proposal is going to be basically evaluated based on these criteria as mentioned herein. The first one is about the excellence, then comes the impact, and then comes the quality and efficacy of your proposals, which is to be implemented. So each parameter is having its own basically yardstick of assessment, and they have their own weightages. Need to be cautious about all three parameters upfront. Next slide, please. So basically, finally, you need to be basically be focused and concrete, build and fairly mature applications. So deliberate very cautiously about what are the possibilities available, what is the SWOT analysis per se, strength, weakness, and opportunity. And so these are some of the essential component of basically a successful proposal will be. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is most probably the final. Yeah, this is the just next to the last slide. So these are informations available, and the one more basically the webinar is already in pipeline, which is about biodiversity and zero pollution, which is to be held 2 days next day, and you're most welcome to participate in that information sharing webinar as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amitji. I think I will give a floor to Samrat, and before that, Tanya to intervene. So we will stop here. We can have a Q&A for some time.
Well, let me thank both Vivek and Amit. Amit is almost becoming a Horizon 2020 expert. You had to go over all these conditions from our side, and because that is really to be fully aware of. All the conditions of participation and funding for the non-Indians are Horizon 2020 rules. For the Indians, it's the DBT guidelines and requirements. But still, all that is merged into one common proposal. And there's only one proposal to be submitted. There is only one call text, and there's only one opening and closing date. And also, if I could just also specify for the audience, there's only one evaluation, and that's based on the 3 criteria that we have used throughout Horizon 2020, which is scientific excellence, the management, and the impact of the proposal. And in our system, each are qualified the same. We give 5 points to each criteria, and the totality makes you get that much for your proposal, and then the ranking. So that was also something. And then I also saw already questions that came in. I don't know, I let Samrat, who moderates that, to see how we answer. There were some questions specifically on budget and on the UK and all that. And but on this modalities, it is really a fusion of the two in one common proposal. And the other thing is that when I listen to the scope of these calls, it is really very important that you go back to the European Union strategy from farm to fork. We will share with you either through Samrat or this link, the link to the strategy itself. It is really very nice building blocks and good to read, but also very important and linked to a question is that, of course, we seek to realize the objective that we have set in our strategy. But DBT is funding your participation to seek the contribution to your strategies. But because our strategies and our objective matches, we have a mutual interest in working together. So it is important that also later on for the Indian entities to be funded is that you can also show that through working together with Europeans, you will contribute to Indian objectives and strategies. So it is not all an EU strategy, an EU deal. It's again a fusion of objectives, but since we have identified that we are so like-minded and share the same objectives, we felt that we could do co-funded calls on the work program. So that is a little bit more from what I heard, further reflection that I would like to share for the further discussions. I guess over to Samrat for the matchmaking or the questions, whatever. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanya. And of course, thank you, Dr. Amit and Dr. Vivek, for a very well-structured presentation. And most of the questions which came in during your presentations have already been answered, but I'm seeing some more questions are coming in. And also, as Tanya mentioned, we had a questions regarding budget, but I think you made it quite clear also, Dr. Amit, the funding amounts. So there was one question about the level of funding to academic institutions and businesses. So as far as I remember, if I'm correct, academic institutions would get 100% funded by DBT and businesses 50%, right?
Yeah, 100% for the academic institutions, 50% up to 1.5 crore. This is what the upfront limit what we have. So, so if they are asking the DBT to contribute 1.5 crore, they are supposed to bring in 1.5 crore from their own kitty. This is what the DBT is obligated for.
And what is the maximum amount one can bid?
There is no maximum amount. We don't have any restrictions on that. So based on the requirement, objectives, the scope of participation, that varies from basically project to project. So we don't have basically upper limit for supporting a particular project.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we have an upper limit for industry, but not for the academia or not for the NGOs per se.
You already mentioned the involvement of the UK will still be part of this call. Yes. So if Indian institutions are looking to partner with UK institutions, there's no problem to that. We had one question about the ratio, like will European and Indian institutions be equally funded in this?
No, I don't think that is basically a yardstick to judge, because the per capita income or the expense per se, we have a huge difference, and we cannot basically compare or go hand in hand that with that whatever the contribution is going to make by the EU per se, we won't be able to contribute that much. That is not possible. It should be basically based on the justification.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just wanted to add what Amit had said, because Indians has to make the budget as per their workload, considering the cost of India. Because what many proposals, they are tend to match up with the European cost, and then we end up with the negotiations and all. So please be aware of what is the actual task and how much it costs in an Indian currency. It should be fair amount of money should be proposed, not excessive, so that we don't lose the time in negotiation.
Yeah. There was another question regarding the consortium. So just to clarify it for the Indian participants, they have to take part in already with European partners. So Indians cannot form our own consortium and then contact Europeans, right?
No, they can form their consortium, but then for becoming an eligible, they can't do their own way. Basically, they need European partners and they need a European coordinator. European Union coordinator is an absolutely obligated requirement. We can't basically, though they can form a consortium, they can hand in hand do with the European investigators. But yeah, it's an obligatory. They can't do their own everything.
So it means 2-3 Indian institutions could, for example, come together, who have like similar interest and form like a partnership, a consortium, and then maybe approach European.
They can do that.
Potential partner. Okay. There is a
So if I can just, this comes back to what I said in the beginning. It's a common proposal.
Yes.
So my recommendation would be to connect as soon as possible with European partners. European entities, they are very familiar with Horizon 2020. The national contact points, they know these calls and they know who is already preparing. So a lot of consortia in Europe are in the making.
Yes.
Don't waste time. And whoever of you thinks has capacity on the topic to work also internationally, contact your peers in Europe to say, hey, are you also preparing a consortium on that? Would you be interested that we join? Don't try to negotiate first among 2-3 Indians and then add that package to the consortium that is in the make in Europe. A consortium is a balance to be made between many elements, of which the call coordinator who has experience has a good feel of that balance. What is the center of gravity of what I want to achieve with the project? And that he will be able to say, I can add 1, 2, 3. Yes, you have a right profile, or sorry, but this is not my focus. So contact as soon as possible Indian partners to get into that formation, and through that you will learn. But do remember, it's one common proposal where the whole balance between all the disciplines, multidisciplinarity, objective, scope, impact will have to be made by all the partners of the consortium, Indian, non-Indian, whatever.
Yeah. Good. I would say we take 3 more questions. Is that okay? Because then we also go over to the our flash presentations. One question was about if this cooperative funding model is similar to what DSD has with some European countries. Can you say something?
Yeah. Actually, this is what the question refers to, a bilateral funding and bilateral model of cooperation. This is not a bilateral cooperation. This is a multilateral consortium, and it has a different rule. So I request the people to go through the DBT website for this specific call clearly, because you need 3 Europeans and 1 or more Indians. So that is not the CIFIPRA or DAD model. This is a multilateral model. And but I will just take a quick question from ICRISAT Hyderabad, because this is the question related to international organized participation, whether they are eligible for Indian funding or European funding.
Yeah.
So basically, we had a very, we just got a clear reply from Brussels. I will read for the ICRISAT people. Their participation, international organizations like UN and UNESCO are not automatically funded by the European Commission. Okay, their participation, if they can be funded or they can receive a EU funding on exceptional basis, if the evaluators consider their participation essential to carry out the action by using the grounds like such as outstanding competence, experience, additional infrastructure, research facility. So they could get an exceptional funding. I think ICRISAT already had a ongoing project with EU, which is funded on exceptional basis, which is from remote satellite and agriculture field. So in short word, EU don't fund, but you can try and project your case as a very important partner where the evaluators can recommend ICRISAT as a EU funding.
Thank you, Vivek. That was actually the next question I wanted to ask. So very good that you could take that immediately. Two more questions, which I think then we conclude this Q&A session. One question comes in terms of pilot actions on the ground. Will that be conducted both in India and in Europe, or a joint actions? Is it possible in any one of the Indian states? How will that work, like the pilot actions on the ground?
To my understanding, the pilot action can be put forward either in Europe or in India or in both the country, both basically participant entities. There is no restriction that they are supposed to showcase that their pilot demonstration in India per se. But yeah, it's a basically that's what Tanya rightly mentioned, that it's a combined proposal and it should come in basically a combined way. So whether it's an Indian technology or European technology, it can go vice versa way, and the proposal should reflect the same way. I just want to add with regard to the earlier question about ICRISAT, we have supported the Indian chapter per se of ICRISAT through 3 different projects, and DPT can very well fund the Indian chapters of ICRISAT per se.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think one recurring question is, how can we put participants of this webinar or Indian institutions in contact with already existing consortia? Like, is there a way, Vivek, that we could facilitate that?
Yeah, I think Amit ji had already mentioned there are, if you open the Farm to Fork call on the funders and portal website, just scroll down. There are people who are already expressed their interest. Either they are looking for a partners or they are proposing their expertise. So my proposal is to first, if you are not familiar with any European network, so please look into this database. And there are other, like we are sharing the contacts of this webinar. So the Europeans are also there. So you can also start discussing with them.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, all of you. I think it was a very good Q&A session. And of course, there are for sure many more questions, but there's a possibility, of course, to contact us after the webinar, and we will try our best to help you and respond to your questions if they have not been answered now. Now I would like to go over to the next session, to our flash presenters, and we'll see if they have already been granted access to their mics and their video. And I would like to start with the first presenter. Just before I hand over to the mic to the first presenter, please, all presenters, keep your mics muted during the presentations. And we have many presentations coming up. And I kindly request you to please stick to the time limit of 7 minutes for each presentation. We start with Mr. Girish Sampath from Sobus Insights Forum India with his presentation. Mr. Girish, could you kindly open your video and also unmute your mic? I hope that's possible for you. I see Mr. Girish is with us, but maybe we just wait a few seconds. Okay. As for now, Somalia, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Samrat.
Okay, so we're just, Mr. Girish is asking request to grant access.
I've already given him access.
Mm-hmm. I think we have lost him. So
he was logged in with multiple IDs. That's why I think that's the position.
Okay, I think we start then with Professor.
I've got him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mr. Girish.
Hi. Yeah,
hi.
Thanks. Am I audible?
You're audible. Can you share your screen, or would you like
Sure,
us
sure.
to?
No, I'll share the screen.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, very good. Just put it in slide modus, please. Yeah, perfect. You can start with your presentation.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Samrat. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. A warm welcome. This is Girish Sampath. I am representing the organization Sobus Insight Forum. At the outset, thanks to your Access India for this opportunity to present at this forum and seek consortium partners from Europe for the Horizon 2020 Green Deal call. Just an introduction about Sobus. We're a non-profit organization. We are a complete holistic collaborator platform and ecosystem for social impact. We undertake established innovative approaches and activities to enable and empower social enterprises and entrepreneurs. One of the key sectors that we work in is sustainable food and agriculture, and especially the farm to fork agenda within it. Our ecosystem services comprise of access to mentors and advisors, access to funds, a lot of support services in terms of IP management, financial and legal services, infrastructure in terms of access to research and prototyping equipment, and business networks to make social business projects successful. Apart from these critical services, we also enable last mile connectivity to rural areas for social enterprises and access to human capital, social capital, and market connect. So all the pieces end to end that requires a social business project to succeed on ground. We also have, as part of our consortium, another research institution, Shri Vitthal Education and Research Institute, based in Pandharpur in Maharashtra. It's a institute committed to science and technology-based rural development, 27 acres of campus in rural Maharashtra, running diploma, undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctorate courses with a student strength of more than 2,500 people. SWERI has successfully executed many research projects supported by government bodies, including BARC and AICT, and has access to really good research labs and prototyping equipment, and a good infrastructure in a rural area, in a rural setting of Pandharpur, and has good experience in technology transfer to rural communities. And at the periphery of the college, there are around 100 villages with a population of 3.5 lakhs and a good influencer in the local ecosystem. So Sobus, along with SWERI, together has set up a rural innovation center called ARISE, Accelerating Rural Innovation and Social Enterprise in India. This is a collaboration between SWERI and Sobus at Pandharpur in Maharashtra with a focus on agriculture and agribusiness. Powered by the local ecosystem support at Pandharpur and the national ecosystem support facilitated by Sobus, here is a list of support services in terms of access to farms and farmer groups, access to mentors, advisors, and especially strategic advisory on go-to-market access, last mile connect, and access to funding resources and infrastructure and labs. Basically, we're looking at European innovators, organizations which have potential prototypes TRL 527 and are interested to pilot in India. We invite them to collaborate with us, test the model on ground. We have a complete test bed with the support ecosystem enabled. So right from the initial research phase and ensuring that it reaches the market and it is commercialized, the support can be enabled via the network of stakeholders. One of the key objectives which we are working towards is setting up a green zone in Pandharpur, which is in Sholadpur district in Maharashtra. We are visualizing the green zone as a complete a model agriculture zone where food is sustainably produced using minimal chemicals, efficiently processed, transported, packaged, and connected to end consumers with minimal losses. So like it was mentioned at the introduction, a complete model zone which is socially, environmentally, and economically sustainable. This is the larger vision where it's a complete systemic approach in that zone. Specifically for this call within the Farm to Fork, we are focusing on the sub-area C, where we're looking at reducing dependence on synthetic chemicals as pesticides and insecticides. One of the issues that we are specifically seeing is that due to excessive use of fertilizers, the groundwater quality degrades, and it also has impact on the health of the area. So we see a strong interplay of agriculture, of water and health. And this is one key intervention which can really help in going a long way. So we invite organizations which are looking at this area, but we are also open to other areas beyond this sub area. Just to reiterate, these are the two partners currently, Sobus Insight Forum. We're a non-profit focused on incubation, acceleration, and ecosystem enablement. And the other consortium partner is Sweri, Pandharpur, and academic and research institution. And we especially would like to invite European innovators, organizations, and pilot their interesting technologies and innovations on ground, get it to commercialization stage and get to the market. This is my contact number here. My email ID is also given. I'm happy to hearing from people who would like to collaborate with us. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Girish. Very clear presentation, and also you stick to the time limit, which makes me very happy. And I would like to now next to invite Professor Ramanathan from the University of Bedfordshire in the UK. Good morning, Professor Ramakrishnan, welcome. And could you kindly share your screen with us and your presentation?
Hello, can you see the slides?
1 second, we are just waiting. Yeah, could you put it in slide modus, please?
Is it clear now?
Yeah, wonderful. Please, yeah, you can start. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me thank the organizers, Eraxis India, for organizing this very interesting and very useful event. And I look forward to getting as many cooperation partners as possible from India and Europe. Thank you. And I'm from the University of Bedfordshire, which is a higher education establishment in the UK, in Luton, not far away from London. Specifically, I'm here to talk about a proposal that I have tentatively titled as Reducing Food Waste Using Internet of Things and Big Data Technologies, or RFWIT, which is basically an somewhat an extension or an additional work going beyond what we have achieved so far compared to other large European funding that we currently run. And I'm trying to focus on Farm to Fork Area 6 and specifically looking at the strand on reducing food waste. Our university is a leading higher education provider in England with a wealth of experience in national and EU and international cooperations. The specific project that I'm talking about here is the project that we run with funding from Interreg, Northwest Europe, called the REAMIT project. The REAMIT project the title stands for Improving Resources Efficiency of Agribusiness Supply Chains by Minimizing Waste Using Internet of Things Sensors. More details are available in the link I have provided here, www.reamit.eu. Basically, the idea is to reduce food waste using these technologies. We have a big consortium consisting of not only the University of Bedfordshire Business School, but several partners across Europe, across Northwest Europe, 16 in total. And we have 6 universities in total and about 10 companies, and more companies are being recruited regularly. We are making good progress. The project is currently in about 18, 19th month so far, and we still have about 20, 25 months more in the project. So we are working very fast, achieving a lot of results in terms of reducing carbon emissions, reducing food wastes, improving sustainability, etc., trying to help European Union achieving its expected achievement in terms of reducing food waste by 50% by 2030 and so on. Food waste is a global problem, not only in the EU, but also in India. Roughly 1/3 of food produced in the world for human consumption every year is getting wasted. 88 million tons of food, or 143 billion euros equivalent, is wasted in the Europe. In Europe, 35% of this food waste occurs in agribusiness supply chain. India is not vastly different. In India, there is probably about 50% of food produced getting wasted due to various reasons. Some estimates put it at around 92,000 crores every year in India. So it's a huge amount of work. And so if we can replicate what we are currently doing in the EU to reduce food waste using technologies in India, I'm sure that we will be achieving a lot of economic, environmental, and social sustainability aims and objectives. Our idea is to use the new digital technologies to provide opportunities in reducing food waste. When I say digital technologies, I'm talking about the new Internet of Things sensors, where we fit sensors to monitor quality of food and then connect it to the cloud and monitor the quality through the cloud, and use business analytics technologies to make automated algorithms to provide artificial intelligence and monitor data very quickly and rapidly. So we use big data technologies, artificial intelligence technologies, etc. We fit, for example, sensors in our current work in the project. We fit sensors inside trucks to monitor the quality of food. We also do it in warehouses, for example, where food is stored. And the connected sensors provide data continuously, which can be monitored in the cloud, and our team of experts do a lot of analytics solutions. And if needed, if there is an issue of discrepancy, if there is a problem with the way food is stored, there is a likelihood that the food is going to be a waste, then there is a very rapid communication from the business analytics project team to the owners via smartphone apps, and give them decision support in order to help them to save food. Maybe tell them that there is nearest demand point available. Please send your product, your food to the nearest demand point. If you keep on proceeding to the original intended target, then probably by the time it reaches the original intended end consumer, the food will become waste. So it's better to reroute the food to the nearest one, so that there is a better chance that the food is consumed, not wasted. So idea is, in normal circumstances, fresh food is produced inside the farm, and it is sent via trucks, trains, are stored in intermediate warehouses before it reaches intended customers. But what we do is, based upon our estimates and based upon estimates from various EU projects, we find that the middle section, that's nearly about 35% of food waste occurs during the food when it is on the move. So we fit sensors and monitor food quality, and if needed, ask the owners to send to nearest customers to save food waste rather than sending to intended customers. Of course, if there is no issue with the way product is stored and the conditions are correct, then they can directly send to intended customers. We use sensors that measure traditional temperature, humidity, lighting, ambience, etc., vibration. We also use more sophisticated sensors like Raman spectroscopy, 3D fluorescence sensors. And we use a lot of technologies like big data analytics, artificial intelligence, and decision support system to do so. This is what we do currently in the UU in our existing project. And we think that there is great scope in translating this kind of work in India. We are looking forward to partners who will be able to support us in terms of giving access to farm gates, food ownerships, trucks, whoever is transporting food trucks and storing and so on. About 40% of food produced in India is wasted. It is based upon one of the recent findings in Indian survey. Value of food is about 92,000 crores per annum, which is humongous amount. On the other hand, about 190 million Indians remain undernourished. So if we are able to save even a small portion of the food that is currently wasted and move it to those undernourished population, we are doing huge social benefits. There is scope for supporting Indian businesses, agribusiness supply chains with technologies. These are the objectives that we think that we will include in our new RF proposal, providing that we have sufficient Indian presence to identify opportunities for reducing food waste in India, to identify the potential of Internet of Things, big data, and artificial technologies. The thing is, we are currently demonstrating the benefit of these technologies in the EU. There is no reason to doubt that it is not going to be applicable to India, but we need people who come forward and then test these kind of technologies in Indian conditions. We are looking for technology partners and agribusiness firms, those engaged in Internet of Things, big data, smartphone app development, analytics, and so on. Agribusiness firms who produce, own, and transport food. We also look for universities and academic institutions to help coordinate Indian side of project activities. And Amit mentioned that there has to be at least one publicly funded Indian entity. So we need people like that. We will bring our expertise in using these technologies to reduce food waste in the EU context. It is under innovation action, area 6, farm to fork, and subtopic E. And we are looking for people with high technology readiness level, maybe around 6, 7, something like that. I've repeated the same thing again. I'm not going to repeat these points. I'm sure that this will be available. These slides are going to be available with colleagues participating. Because I am the project lead of the REAMIT project, a number of
Professor Ramanathan, sorry to intervene, but your time is already up. So if you could kindly conclude.
Just the last slide. Because I'm the project lead of the REAMIT project, some of our own partners are interested in producing, in showcasing their ability. So I'm just adding a few points from one of my partner institutions, Nottingham Business School. They are interested in sustainable production and consumption waste reduction. Also, they are looking at the verbum concept that basically zero waste production in agri supply chain. So they have ability, they have they have expertise in these areas. Happy to work in those areas too. Thank you very much. That's it. This is my last slide. Please contact me if there is any opportunity.
Thank you so much, Professor Ramanathan, and also outlining what kind of partners you are looking at. And I think it's a very interesting topic with using IoT and big data. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Bhagwati Veera Lakshmanan and Mr. Prashad Thakur from Inclusive Business Covestro, India, to share their presentations.
Yes, hi, good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, we just need you to
share my, I will be sharing my screen.
Yeah. Dr. Prashad, if you're not able, we can share your presentation.
Okay, is it visible to you now?
Yeah, now it's there. Just you have
Okay.
to put it in slide modus.
Yes. So now is it visible?
Yep. Perfect. Please go ahead.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, everybody, for participating and contributing. Definitely, this brief helps. I have texted. There will be some questions after I've read the documents. But meanwhile, I'll just quickly introduce Covestro and its very special lighthouse initiative, which is called as Inclusive Business, and how we are essentially trying to address some of the most challenging issues that our post-harvest food ecosystems in India are facing through our innovations. So just a quick background, Covestro is one of the world's largest high-performance materials company. It is one of the top 30 largest German corporations. We are based out of Leverkusen, which is very close to the Düsseldorf area in Germany. What I would now want to quickly focus on is only the inclusive business of this very vast conglomerate, which is Covestro. And within that, I'm only focusing on the post-harvest part of the solutions. So being very, very specific because we are essentially having limited time in terms of how we are introducing ourselves. So inclusive business primarily aims to drive Covestro's sustainability agenda. And we aim to positively improve the lives of 10 million underserved community members by 2025. So that is our non-financial target, and we aim to make the world a brighter place through our innovative materials. So this is essentially a top view of where we are coming from, and we are very much in alliance in concurrence with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, as well as a lot of I would say green initiatives that are taking place in the chemical industry. We are one of the leaders in that domain in several spheres. The solutions that I am presenting to you at the right of the screen are solar greenhouse dryer, the solar conduction dryer, as well as the solar powered cold storages. So these are innovations that are based out of Covestro materials, which are deployed in the field, which essentially try and improve the shelf life of materials. So as you would imagine, the solar greenhouse dryer and the solar conduction dryer are essentially tools that you can use to dehydrate agricultural produce in a very hygienic, sustainable, safe way, environmentally compliant way. And as you would see, the solar powered cold storage is again essentially trying to improve the shelf life of products, but for the fresh market. So the top two solutions cater to the dehydrated market, and the solar powered cold storage tries to address the challenges in the fresh market. And as elaborated by my previous by the previous speaker, there is enormous food wastage that we are seeing in the Indian agricultural space, specifically after the produce has been harvested from the field, be it vegetables, be it fruits, be it flowers, and so on. Again, this particular slide just tries to emphasize our spread in India. We are very much active in Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, and looking for more geographies within the Indian subcontinent. There are solutions which pertain to sanitation as well as construction, which I will not touch upon during this call, because we are primarily focusing on food security. So requesting everybody to have a look at this slide when these are shared in terms of understanding where we are present. And like I've mentioned, we are very much conscious about offering solutions which provide safety, comfort, environmental friendliness, and affordability, and then trying to improve the lives of underserved communities through our innovations. So what we are trying to do in the food security space is that though our solutions are primarily targeting the post-harvest part of the ecosystem, we are working with a lot of ecosystem players, be it the several state governments, the horticulture departments, the agri marketing departments of several state governments, as well as the union government in India, to create an entire 360-degree plug and play ecosystem for the farmer. So our ultimate aim is to essentially address major challenges like climate change through our solutions, to improve farm productivity, as well as to improve the earnings of the farmer. So we are very much conscious about improving the earnings of underserved communities, which include small and marginal farmers in India. As you would imagine, 86% of the farming community in India is the smallholder farmers, and we are putting together a consortium which involves governments, which involves very reputed and acknowledged NGOs. We have technology partners, we have financial institutions, as well as market linkage providers, which put together this entire ecosystem, which add a lot of value to the farmers, and which also contribute to Government of India's initiative of doubling farmers' income by 2022. So more details you will find later on in the slides. Again, just a brief summary of what these solutions are. The solar greenhouse dryer, as you would imagine, is based on our innovations in the polycarbonate domain, and the technical details are mentioned in the slide. One quick, I would say, a pointer that I would want to highlight is that this particular solution has been acknowledged as the 1,000 most efficient solutions in the world by Solar Impulse Foundation very recently. The success stories of farmers who have adopted the solar greenhouse dryer has been documented by NAPCONS. So NAPCONS is the NABARD consultancy services. It is the consulting arm of the National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development, which is a Government of India initiative. So those specific resources are available on the website, and again mentioned in the slide. The solar conduction dryer again is a very innovative dehydration mechanism. It has been acknowledged to be successful by the farming community, by the government, by NGOs and relevant stakeholders. Again, it was featured in the Forbes social innovation references and so on. So again, a very highly acknowledged and highly effective, I would say, tool and solution to improve the lives of farmers. And the solar power cold storages are again very highly appreciated in areas where they are deployed. Again, Nepal and Sri Lanka have really benefited from these kind of interventions and projects that we have done. So we have collaborated previously with KfW, which is the German Development Bank, in reaching out to these new geographies. And like I mentioned, we have various customized solutions for various commodities. So as you can see, the spread of the commodities that we deal with is enormous. So these are only a few indicative commodities that I am mentioning over here. And apart from that, we are again very active in the spices domain. Very recently, we have partnered with one of the largest, I would say, FMCG or market linkage provider, and then we are trying to take up chili and turmeric and ginger and garlic in a big way in terms of how they can be dehydrated in the most efficient, environmentally friendly and beneficial way, and then linked to the markets. So we have that ecosystem in place. Again, you have fruits, you have flowers, and we are also working on several projects which deal with dehydration of fish. Apart from that, I would also quickly want to touch upon how we are integrating the solutions or the materials that we are using along with the digital technology. So we are trying to put together a post-harvest management platform. So this platform is the first of its kind, which focuses exclusively on managing post-harvest losses, how to cut them down, how to bring in more benefits to the small and marginal farmers in India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. And as you would see, we have several themes running into it, which is focusing on the producers, the investment, which involves bankers and NBFCs and governments and so on, international finance as well. Innovation in terms of what are the different commodities which can be used for dehydration, how to improve their shelf life, in compliance with several government regulations, maintaining those very high standards of managing and handling that kind of food commodity, and training the farmers. Again, we are putting in a lot of stress in terms of connecting agriculture universities, training institutions, and farmers so that they adopt to the best practices in managing our food value chains. again, this slides quickly highlights how we typically approach. We evaluate, we get into a new area, we evaluate and assess it through government, through our NGO partners and so on. We identify the right technology. We do a lot of skill development so that the hardware that we provide in terms of solutions matches with the software in terms of the skills that are acquired by the farmers. And then we also provide market linkage. So we have a plug and play ecosystem, which is there, which is being deployed for several commodities in several regions of the Indian subcontinent. We bring in a lot of innovation in terms of business models as well. We customize the finances, we customize the marketing and also the approach based on the requirements of the specific geography and the commodity and the stakeholders. So there is a lot of innovation on that front. A lot of small and marginal farmers have connected with us. We are engaging in a big way with FPOs, like I mentioned, working a lot with the government as well, and trying to achieve national.
Mr. Prashad, sorry to intervene, but your time is up. Please come.
Okay, so I will conclude within the next 30 to 40 seconds. Yes. And maybe what we are looking at in terms of partnering is again linkage with players which are in the market linkage and agri commodity space. We are looking at consortium partners who can work with us on project finance, who can provide this kind of a finance, or we can work together and make proposals in order to access such finance, and also working in terms of promoting this entire ecosystem of adopting new technology for reducing food loss. I would request everybody to go through the references section on this slide. There are some very interesting successful case studies which have been demonstrated. And at the conclusion, I would request everybody to have a look at those references sections and this particular presentation and reach out to me and my colleagues. Our contact numbers are shared on this particular website. So thanks a lot for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prashad. And I would like to invite now our next speaker, Dr. Tamina Ajamal, also from the University of Bedfordshire in the UK.
Yes, hello, thank you very much. I will just share my slides.
Yes.
Find them. There they are. Oh, where are my slides? Oh, I think it's here. Can everyone see my slides?
Yeah, perfect. You can start with the presentation.
All right, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank Euraccess India for making this opportunity possible and giving us the opportunity to actually link up with all the fantastic people that I've been hearing. So it is really interesting to see all the innovative ideas that have been presented so far, and I'm sure that will continue after my presentation as well. So I am focusing on Area 6, Farm to Fork Testing and Demonstration, Systemic Innovation Support to the Farm to Fork Strategy. And I am going to present something in a slightly change in the more in the aquaculture area. So I have given a title to my proposed proposal, Developing Digital Innovations for Sustainable Aquaculture. I'm from the same institution at Professor Ram, it's the University of Bedfordshire in the United Kingdom. As Ram has already given a little brief overview, so I will just continue on that and speak a little bit, first of all, about the university and then about its research. So this is our top class teaching and learning facilities at the university. Our teaching is led by highly qualified staff and is informed by world-class research, which is the most important thing. So we are ranked in the top 27 amongst UK universities for our research activities, 45% of which is world-leading or internationally renowned. This is as it was given in the Research Excellence Framework, which is done periodically every 5 years. So this was what was done in 2014. The next cycle is going to happen next year. So we are leading in research in many areas. So I'm going to focus on the areas which are related to my area, that is data visualization, analytics, sensor design, agri-food supply chains, fluorescent system design, nano and T9 lasers, to name just a few. about me, who I am. So I am senior lecturer at University of Bedfordshire, UK, since 2010, and after completing my PhD from the University of Essex. So my research interests are quite varied, but all of them, because my background is electronic engineering, so all of them are related in some way or the other to electronic engineering. So first and foremost in my research interest is water engineering. So I had a couple of projects in this area, a lot of publications and patents. I've supervised PhDs in these areas. And now I have expanded water engineering into aquaculture, mostly related to the monitoring of the water quality in aquaculture to ensure a little bit more sustainable, bringing a little bit more sustainability and transparency in this sector. So I have projects and publications in this area. And another area I would say, which is quite related, is data analytics, where again, I had quite some projects and publications. So I've listed here some of my publications to give a feel of my expertise and what I can do, which relates to, of course, forecasting in aquaculture and modeling and prediction in the water contamination and designing of a smart system for rapid bacterial tests. This was actually a work that I did together with an Indian counterpart in Bangalore, and then again, water quality. So my current research projects are focused on my main research objectives, and these are in one most important one that I will mention here is Aquaculture 4.0, which is advancing digital precision aquaculture in China. So this is UK-China collaboration. So we are funding our side in UK by Innovate UK, and the China side of research is funded by the Chinese government, very similar to the DPT funding, the Indian side of this H 2020 proposal. So the focus of this proposal is on developing an advanced precision digital infrastructure for aquaculture with the aim to improve productivity. So although we are developing this for China, but of course it has got all the possibility of application anywhere in the world. Another project, so currently this project, Aquaculture 4.0, we are somewhere in the midway, and we are making good progress in terms of the development of the systems. Another project, again related to aquaculture, was implementing technology solution for sustainable development of artisanal fisheries in Santa Catarina. This was funded by the Newton Fund, British Council. The UK side was funded by UK side, and the Brazil side was funded by their local funders. So in this case, the emphasis is on implementing technology solution for sustainable development of small-scale fisheries in Brazil. So the reason why I am focusing on these two proposals is that these two give slightly different scenarios in aquaculture. One is focusing on the small-scale fisheries, and one is focusing on the more advanced precision digital infrastructure. And either of them could apply in the Indian scenario. Some of the other projects that I am co-investigator is the RIAMID project, as my colleague Professor Ram has already discussed this in detail. And then another project that I am co-author in is River Project, which is for the development of the low carbon solutions in transport systems to reduce global GHG emissions. So let's start with the focusing on the challenges faced by the aquaculture sector. So these are some of the challenges: high resource consumption, high labor intensity, high risk in food safety, low productivity, adverse impact on environment, high risk in business sustainability. So, and we can tackle these challenges in aquaculture sector in India by applying innovative technological solutions to improve social economical status of this sector in India. This is the kind of the solution that we can develop with the digital innovations for sustainable aquaculture solution that is having automated advanced sensors, 5G network for the transmission, and big data analytics and decision making. So for the collaboration overview, the keywords: aquaculture, digital innovation, data analytics, sustainability, agri-food supply chain, and what kind of collaboration you're looking for. I'm looking to partner in an existing consortium, but more than happy to make a consortium if there is enough interest and I could get enough partners. Your own competencies, deep understanding of aquaculture infrastructure in China, Brazil, and Scotland in UK, and support for developing a digital infrastructure, sensor selection, and data analytics. And these are my contact details: Tamina Ajamal, my email address, and I've also given my web link. So you can contact me by this email, or in my web link, you can look at my CV and see what more I can offer. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tamina Ajamal, for your presentation. Next, we have Dr. Nina Sengupta from Auroville, India. Welcome, Dr. Nina. Could you kindly unmute your mic and share your screen with us?
Yes, I'm trying. Thank you. There's my screen. How do I share? Okay, yes. Can you see?
Yes, just put it into slide modus.
All right. Let's go to number 1. Okay, slide mode. Yeah.
Okay, all set.
Okay, thank you. I express my gratitude for including me in this presentation. This is the first of its kind that I am presenting in. So thank you very much. My project is very different from all of you. It's really an early implementation because it's already grounded and it can be only scaled up from ground up. So let's see how this fares. So it's about wild greens, we call weeds, from farm to fork, and adapting to climate change and reconnecting with nature. It's an integrated learning in action, and the Venn diagram speaks for itself. So I'm going to apply and present this in context of a conscious full spectrum response model. This model recognizes that apart from the immediate causes that a certain problem may have, there are other causes which are intermediate, which could be structural and cultural norms or other underlying causes. And for a sustainable, long-lasting solution, one needs to actually cut across these different causes and not just address to the technical solutions or immediate solutions that can be offered. So here are some examples. So the immediate cause in this case are extreme weather events, erratic weather patterns by climate change, perhaps, malnutrition. Then the intermediate causes are stigma around eating wild greens, loss of traditional lifestyle and knowledge, and lack of awareness about food and nutrition. Underlying causes, a disconnect with nature. Here, these are the questions I'm going to address, trying to address the immediate cause, which is measurable. What are the measurable problems? How will my action be different from addressing the issues? And what action will I take? What are the measurable problems that show up? Increasing extreme weather patterns, actual events, because they are not even a pattern. Malnutrition, there are 51.4% of adult women in reproductive age nationwide, and 77% in this area where I am are anemic. The children malnutrition levels are also much below the average than any other developing country nationwide. Eating unhealthy is not a phenomenon for the poor families only. Middle and upper income groups also experience malnutrition due to lifestyle choices, lack of correct information, disconnect with nature, and also a very long chain between the farm and the fork. The usual, this is not the solutions I am providing, but the solutions that are usually may be offered for climate change, even because of the variation in weather, too much rain and too much dryness. Often the solutions offered are raised bed or drip irrigation, which is not a bad solution by itself. Then we have heard about river linking, and in the worst cases, people are driven to move away from such places and experiencing few or no extreme weather events, though we know that there is really no such safe layer. Malnutrition, making nutrition supplements or artificially fortified grains, make them available, have more grocery stores and grocery storage depots without addressing the long chain that is already existing between the farm and these grocery stores or depots. So the distance between farm and fork doesn't reduce, and seek more funds from the government for all of this. However, we know that these are not the lasting solutions, even if they are possible. How will my action be different? I want to treat these issues as opportunities and realize their full potential for lasting and constructive change. I would like to build capacity in people that are equitable, accessible, sustainable, and measurable. My action will be global as well. Climate change is affecting all of us, and need to access healthy, nutritious food cuts across the economic status, nationality, gender, and age. Wild greens or weeds are excellent indicators of climate change. It's already established. They can adapt to the changing weather conditions that are here and now. Weeds actually gives excellent access to nutrition and also medicinal properties because of that. And especially when grown in farm, yard, or containers, that way they are safely grown and not necessarily collected from maybe contaminated places, and definitely reduces the distance between the farm and the fork. These were the preparatory work that has been done. I had published a book on edible weeds and naturally growing plants in Oroville, though the plants that are included in this book are pantropical and also present in temperate zones during the summer months. The book itself is an experiential that convey environmentalism, and it comes with the colored insert for the information on how to use them. And the learning is now supported by actual and virtual weed walks, podcasts, and social media posts. So the response of this book was excellent. The permaculturists really loved it, back to the land, even when they are coming from the farming family, but resorting to to integral farming, they actually appreciate it because this information they got at their fingertips. Participation, we started a weed walk where the participation initially was 2 to 3 people, then I had to restrict to 15 maximum. After the lockdown, the social media exchanges increased tremendously from 10 to 15 people to more than 90. And then after that, I stopped counting. And it's a very vibrant community. I have included the link to a 13-minute presentation that I gave it to the Ecological Society of America on this particular initiative. All the 40 weeds, as I told, are actually found everywhere. And many of them are naturally occurring in different parts of Southern and Western Europe and have their origins in Asia, Africa, Mediterranean, and the Americas. What action will I take? Document researched information on wild greens and weeds that are edible and medicinal, to begin with those that are common in India and Europe. Enable finding and growing them in farms, food forest, container gardens for easier, safer access in areas within India and in selected countries in Europe. Reclaim the tradition of inquiry that was once common to this region in all over India and in traditional lifestyles in Europe too. In the process, enable people to be aware of and connect with nature. And depending on how much wild greens or weeds one wishes to grow, they can be part of individual and family consumption, community sharing, exchange, barter, or sales. To fulfill my action and to scale up my initiative, I seek collaboration, seeking collaboration within India and Europe to replicate the work that has been initiated here and focusing on documenting edible greens and nurturing and growing them. Collaborate with 3 distinct regions within India, collaborate with 3 European countries. I'm seeking collaborators who are permaculturists, horticulturists, food foresters, vegetable growers, rooftop container gardeners in 3 different zones within India and 3 different countries in Western and Southern Europe, where several of these weeds are common and that are common in this book can be found. And Currently, I have one collaborator in France. The details is given here, Rosie Harding. She's also connected to this presentation. She's a permaculturist with experience in establishing food forest in Goa, India, is now as a project holder in Urban Rooftop Trade Garden in Montreal in East Paris in France. She's also a recipient of a recent recipient of a budget participation in the Ecologie Tile France and support of the city and receiving support of the city of Montreal. In addition, there is a local food platform of Institute of France in Pondicherry, which I'm also part in collaborating with. So this is a long about me. You can read it later. No need now. This is the
Dr.
key.
Sengupta, yeah, we have to come to the end of your presentation.
Yes, and this is my contact number if you need any more details. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sengupta. Very interesting, I think, a project, and also, of course, different from the others we have heard so far, but these are very diverse projects and all of them equally interesting. I would like to ask our next presenter, Dr. Lohitaksha Maniraj, also from the University of Bedfordshire in the UK, to make her presentation. Dr. Maniraj, welcome.
Yeah.
The floor is yours. You just put on slide modus. Yeah, perfect. We can see it. Thank you.
Yeah. So is my voice audible?
Yes, you're clearly audible.
Yeah, thank you so much for the stage. I thank all the organizations for giving us this opportunity to participate in this networking event. Professor Ram has already mentioned about this presentation about this project that we are running called REAMIT, and I would like to just add a few more points and some expertise that we can offer as part of our university and our business school. So the proposed title of the project is to reduce food waste using IoT and big data for this Green Deal proposal. So the focus would be on Area 6, Farm to Fork systemic innovations. So I'm a research fellow working in the REAMIT project to facilitate the big data analytics and lead the technological aspects in this particular project. And to introduce our university, University of Bedfordshire is a public university, and it has 100 years of quality education, hosts more than 20,000 students from about 100 countries. So our campus is the main campus out of the 5 campuses we have, and the research that is being conducted is we have lots of research being conducted, as highlighted by also an earlier presenter, Dr. Tamina Ajamal. It's recognized as a leading research providing organization in terms of several areas, some of which are advancing medical knowledge of serious and chronic disease using robotics technology that supports independent living, and to recently from past 16-19 months, we have been working with the implementation of digital technology intervention for reducing food quality, which is particularly the REAMIT project. And the university also hosts 9 different research institutes focusing on different research agenda. So I just want to highlight the 2 different research institutes which are of relevance. One is the Business and Management Research Institute and the Institute for Research in Applicable Computing. So the Business and Management Research Institute focuses on several research pertaining to supply chains, building business models, expanding the network of research and providing market replications with the different collaborations across European countries, Asian countries, and African countries. So this is basically REAMIT project is also mainly associated with the Business and Management Research Institute. And we have a separate center for applicable computing. They also have several projects which in collaboration with the King's College, University London, and several premier institutions across the UK to be able to conduct applied research in various domains, various sectors across engineering and food supply chains, mechanical engineering, and several other disciplines. So this brings us to explain a bit more about what REAMIT project is, which is improving resource efficiency of agribusiness supply chains by minimizing waste using big data and IoT sensors. So which is funded again by Interreg Northwest Europe program, and we have several countries, 6 different academic institutions, 5 small and medium scale enterprises working with us in order to implement digital technology across the fresh food supply chain. It mainly focuses on 4 different items of food, which is fish, meat, fruits, and vegetables. So the idea has been presented already by Professor Ram. I don't want to repeat it for the sake of time. I just want to present a pilot demonstration that we have been conducting. So the knowledge and the technology levels are very high in terms of its implementation levels, and it can be easily adopted to Indian context. This is one of the complete pilot scenario that is being conducted in Germany, and a company needs to track the quality of food right from the grower to the warehouse and to the supermarket. So the sensors are installed on the trucks, and they have several parameters such as the temperature, humidity, light, intensity, volatile organic compound gas levels emitted from the fruits are used to measure the quality of food. And ultimately, all the actors of the supply chain are connected through a mobile phone app. The different actors such as the farmer and the grower, and we have truck driver when the food is on move, the warehouse worker at a warehouse, and similarly a truck driver again from when it moves from the further up further down towards the supply chain. And finally, we have the supermarket employees. So each and every time, everybody knows what a particular quantity of food is being routed. For example, if it's being rerouted because of low quality, the supermarket employee would be able to track this through the mobile app. And so everybody is in tune with what is going on with every kg of food that's being transported across the supply chain, thereby connecting all the actors and processes, activities, and financial transactions across the supply chain. So I just want to discuss a bit about what synergy REAMIT technology can offer to participate in the Green Deal project. REAMIT technology mainly addresses food waste reduction through sustainable modeling and big data sensors. So when we reduce food waste, the focus of the project is to reduce food waste, but also it's extended to see how it is implementing the environment and the social conditions in how the reduction of food waste is affecting the environment in by different sustainable modeling approaches using life cycle modeling approaches and considering a carbon emission measurement framework where each food item is the kg of food item saved is converted into carbon dioxide equivalents of carbon emissions saved. In that way, connecting the amount of food waste to measure the impact on climate change, and these are some issues that are being already addressed and in the REAMIT project. So this brings us a lot of synergy to work around for a proposal in the Green Deal initiative, and that motivates us to propose this reduce food waste with the help of our big data and IoT for Indian context. So these are the different challenges addressed by the REAMIT project. Specifically, we aim to reduce fresh food waste, as mentioned earlier, to improve the resource efficiency across different processes. The REAMIT technology mainly focuses on 3 different not only 3, but many more, but at the moment, the pilots running can be categorized into different stages of the supply chain. Like we aim to improve the resources in the right from the early stages of the supply chain. We have pilots running to address this particular issue. We have pilots running to address issues right through the supply chain, like the pilot which was presented earlier, from the grower to the warehouse to the supermarket. We have pilots that are running which
Maniraj, sorry to intervene, but your time is up. Could you please come to a conclusion?
Yeah, yeah. This is the basic synergy we have between this and this, and So we specifically want to address these two, number 5 and number 2 points of the Green Deal, reducing food losses and waste, while also avoiding unsustainable packaging and achieving climate neutral food businesses by mitigating. So these are the two agenda that we want to address, and any other area is also welcome. These are objectives were already presented earlier, and we're looking for partners who are able to implement IoT, big data, smartphone app development, and energy efficiency assessment in the case of Indian firms like Covestro is one of the very firms that can share the synergy with our kind of work that we are interested for. And yeah, I mean, we bring our expertise in terms of already dealing with, in my PhD, I have dealt with Indian food supply chain systems, but for implementing sustainable food security through technological interventions for production, processing, and logistics. And also work with other.
Sir, sorry, we have to. Yeah, can you come to the your contacts now, and we will also share the slides with all the.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, this is what we can offer as part of the business school. These are a few publications which demonstrate the technology that I was speaking about. So this is my contact, and if interested parties can contact us, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for this presentation, and as I said, we will share your presentation contact details with the other participants as well. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Somesh Baranwal from the Central University of Punjab in India to do his flash presentation.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, Dr. Somesh.
Yes, sir.
There is a slight echo in your audio.
Okay, so how to remove
it? Either you use a mic, a headset, or can you speak again?
Okay, hello.
Okay, please, you can start with your presentation.
So now it's better, or?
Yeah, now it's better. Now it's better. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope you can see my presentation.
Yeah, very clearly.
Okay. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present my. Basically, opportunity to participate in this networking event. And my name is Somesh Baranwal, and I am currently working as a assistant professor in a Department of Microbiology at Central University of Punjab. Actually, my long-term research goal is to reduce the antibiotic consumption and develop novel strategy to reduce bacterial contamination in the veterinary sector. And title of my talk is this: isolation, characterization, and poultry application of lytic phage. So let me start with some background information first. So let me start with this background information. Okay. So if we talk about this Indian livestock sector, so which is one of the largest in the world, which account for almost 12% of the world livestock population, and India is also world largest producer of milk. So it's basically the third largest producer after China and USA, and the fourth largest chicken producer after China, Brazil, and United States. So the problem is this use of antibiotic in animal feed. Basically, there is no regulation actually for use of antibiotic. So according to one estimate, the use of antibiotic in animal feed will increase by 82% in India by 2030, and especially in case of poultry sector, it is expected to triple by 2030. So and as we all know that antibiotic resistance is a major problem, and India is emerged as one of the global hotspot for antibiotic resistance. So importantly, means India imports more than 80% of the raw material for antibiotic production from China. And obviously, there is an urgent need to develop alternative strategy to tackle this issue. So I am basically, and another problem is because of this antibiotic use, India is also facing the problem of pollution from antibiotic. Okay, so in this antibiotic producing facility, there is lots of pollution. So my project basically perfectly fit in this same self-reliant India as proposed by Indian Prime Minister Modi after this COVID-19. So what I am trying to do is basically, I am trying to, and why, I just want to tell you that where we use antibiotic in the veterinary sector, especially in the poultry, if we talk, so in poultry sector, antibiotic is used as a treatment for animals based on clinical sign of infectious disease. It is used as a metaphylaxis agent to treat a group of clinical healthy animals to minimize the expected outbreak. And it also used as a prophylaxis to prevent those at which are at risk from being infected. And then antibiotic is also used as a growth promoter to boost the weight of the animal. So let me tell you a little bit about what are the major poultry diseases of the bacteria. So these are the 5 major poultry diseases of the bacteria, so such as salmonellosis, colibaciliosis, campylobacteriosis, clostridiosis, and listeriosis. So I have given you the name of the species associated with the disease. And what I'm looking is actually, I'm looking trying to make a novel phage cocktail actually, which by using that phage cocktail, I can prevent the contamination. So if we talk about contamination, so phage is used, means water phage basically. So phage in short are the natural predator of bacteria, and they are classified either as a lytic phage or as a lysophilic phage. So means according to one estimate, the number of phage is 10 times more than number of bacteria present in the universe actually. So, and then this phage has been proposed to use both in poultry sector. Actually, it has been proposed to use during pre-harvesting application area, and this such as if phage has been used as an antibacterial agent, can be used as a feed additive, which I just told you. This can use as a poultry prior to slaughter actually for prevention, treatment, and control of bacterial. And then it also has been proposed to use as a food biocontrol and as a disinfection agent. So phage has been proposed to use both in the pre-harvest application area and in the post-harvest application area. So what I am proposing here is that I would like to isolate phage specific for 3 bacterial disease, okay, which is the major cause of loss in poultry sector. So a broad objective of my proposal is, future research proposal is, specific aim basically deal with the isolation and in vitro characterization of lytic phages. The important thing is that I will isolate lytic phages only for 3 bacterial disease which I mentioned previously, and in the second part I will perform the genome sequencing and annotation analysis for the 18 lytic bacteria. Means maybe we can go even further. And then the third part is this in vivo modeling of the bacteriophage cocktail is a prophylactic and the probiotic agent in poultry sector. So this is a project we can divide into 2 parts. One is like an exploratory project where we will do some discovery phase, we can say, more not like an exploratory. This is more like a discovery phase, and then this will have the translational phase where means after discovery we will use it to translate, okay, and then in my opinion, this perfectly fit in this farm to fork, okay, because I am dealing with all aspects of chicken industry. So, so important thing is what kind of collaboration I am seeking. These are some keyword actually if someone is interested. So I am looking for some academic or industrial collaboration to perform following tasks. So I perform, so say in vitro, early characterization, all things I can do by myself, but I am looking for some collaboration with some academic institution which can perform this whole genome sequencing and annotation for broad spectrum lytic phage for 3 bacterial diseases. And this will also help us to characterize the virulence factor and novel endolysin, okay, for therapeutic use. And then I particularly need help for setting up bacteriophage as a natural food preservative and prophylactic agent for poultry sector. That's the second part. And then I also need help in setting up in vivo experiment to establish lytic bacteriophage as a low-cost gene technology. Okay, so with this we can reduce antibiotic use in Indian poultry industry. So if we talk about my own competency actually, so as I mentioned before that I'm currently, but I have 20 plus years of research experience, and more than 10 years I work in the United States of America, and I have experience in antibiotic resistance mechanism, cancer biology, and microbial pathogenesis. Besides this, I also have extensive hand-on experience in this molecular biology techniques, and I have also worked with the viruses in my. And then besides this, I have extensive experience in cell and molecular biology, such as knockout mice and cancer progression. And besides this, I have more than 5 years of teaching experience, and I have already guided 16 MSc dissertation and 4 MSc dissertation I guided on bacteriophages actually. So I have some, I have already done some background work, but now I need some collaboration from a European agency. And here is my contact detail if someone wants to contact me. So as I mentioned before, I work in this government funded institution called Central University of Punjab, which is close to Rajasthan state, close to Delhi, not so far from Delhi, just 300 kilometers from Delhi. So please contact me if you want me to collaborate, and I'm looking for 3 European partner actually, because as per the requirement from this Europe Horizon 2020. So kindly contact me with this. I have given my details here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Somesh. And I would like now to invite Professor Sunil Bhand from the University of BITS Pilani in Goa to share his presentation with us.
Thank you. I will try to just now share my screen quickly. Please let me know if I am audible and my presentation is, thank you so much.
You're audible and visible. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Samrat. So my name is Sunil Bhand. I come from Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, which has 4 campuses in India, and 3 in India and 1 in Dubai. My title of presentation is in the area of farm to fork subsection 4 on reduction of antimicrobial load. And I would like to offer on testing and demonstration of antibiotic and mycotoxin residues using novel biosensors in milk supply chain, actually I stand corrected, and aqua farms towards food traceability in the supply chain. So I have a dedicated biosensor laboratory, state-of-the-art laboratory established in Goa in 2005 onwards. Several projects being done. This is the glimpse of the Goa campus where I am working, particularly and I'm working for the 4 campuses located next to Mumbai, 400 kilometers. About my organization is a deemed to be university, private deemed to be university established in 1964 through Act of Parliament. We are a not-for-profit society registration, so we are eligible for receiving the funding. We are currently running a Horizon 2020 grant with DST co-funding as partner, and also a mobility grant with iBrain in the EU funding. We have 800 faculty across the 4 campuses and 15,000 students, of which 20% are the masters and PhD. Our main strength is everything we do is merit-based, and there's nothing like any kind of discrimination or priority. Everything is transparent in the policy and process. We do experimentation and innovation. We are ranked among the top entrepreneurial, universities in the country, and also by Hurrums, we have been, ranked as among top 3 in producing unicorns. So we have produced so far 6 unicorns, more than 450 startups so far. And in the national ranking, we are in the top private university and also an overall ranking of 15. We are Institute of Eminence recognized by the Government of India among the first 3 out of the 6. We are one of the private universities. And we are also ranked by QS, and Nature Index India has ranked number 9 to BITS Pilani in physical science and among the academic institutions. Currently, we are running more than 375 sponsored external funding, including US, Europe, elsewhere in the world, and worth of more than 30 million. Last month, we received a funding of Bio Cyber Physical System Technology Innovation Hub worth 15 million euro. That will be based across, Goa, Pilani. I will be leading that proposal. What is that core strength we will be offering from our side? We have very strong competency in area of biosensors, miniaturized, biosensor, biochip devices to monitor antibiotic residues as well as mycotoxins, integrated with, nanomaterial thin film devices. And also we have competence with, other colleagues in dairy microbiology. So far, I have filed 14 patents. 3 are granted relating to this area I am offering, and few are under evaluation. We have reached to the stage where we are able to now prototype and do the batch production in the next step. So far, I have supervised 10 PhD students. We are also currently running an Indo-Swedish project on the AMR, antimicrobial resistance. We have earlier done a project with Ministry of Agriculture on the detection of antibiotic residues, particularly developing the chemical sensors for that. So there's a lot of background competency we are able to offer. We collaborate with National Dairy Research Institute and members in the FSSI who guide us, and we have been able to set up first milk referral lab in the country through a World Bank funded project, which I was leading 3 years ago. It was a big funding of $5 million. And that's how these 14 patents came out. So we'll have to offer a patented technology from our side, which we'll try to take it forward. And these background IPs, we would like to, convert them into commercial applications through field trials and making IoT based cyber physical system platforms. And the multidisciplinary team is also available alongside me from CSIR Electrochemical Research Institute and National Dairy Research Institute, who are connected to dairy and various milk processing plants. The expectation from EU partner in brief, we are looking for a consortia. I was happy to hear the previous presentation. I'm not sure how they look at us, but I could see there are some overlaps who are into supply chain. We are basically have been working on this particular area for last 10 years, focusing on how we meet the EU standards as well as the Indian FSSAI standards, and we have been able to achieve the detection limits in both the instances. In one case for mycotoxin, we are able to meet even Swiss standards, ALARA standard for mycotoxin, which is 20 parts per trillion. And so we are expecting a partner, a consortia, which is into supply chain management, collection points. We want to analyze milk quality and antibiotic residue at collection points, also at the farm level, and also at the storage and processing plants. We are also looking at aqua farms, because these are the two things. India is the largest producer of milk, as well as India is among the largest exporter of seafood products. So that is one of the perspective that if we are able to develop such sensor and automate them, I think this will help improve the food safety quality. Plus, it will also do value addition to the farmers and producers, and also good health. And invariably, it will also give the impact on the public health as well as the economy. So with this objective, we are into this particular delivery with the project of innovation action, convert patented ideas, particularly based on spores-based sensors and biochip multi-analyte platform, where we can do at least 12 analytes simultaneously. It's a disposable, low-cost sensor. We are planning to do the batch production and go to the industry, do field validation, and do the real applications. So these are the three important areas: demonstrating, piloting, and particularly the impact to the society. We are in the current patents, relevant patents related to this project. We have one Indian patent which is pending. We have submitted the response. We have got a UK patent granted on this, an international patent already. One more Indian patent on the spore has been granted. So with these granted patents, we have a strategy to connect with the consortia to really do groundwork, where we can practically demonstrate supply chain monitoring and also the farming and production. That is the objective. The keywords are antibiotic residues, mycotoxins like aflatoxin M1, biosensor, milk, dairy, aquafarm, impedance, which is a device we are working on, nanomaterials, sensor network, and so on. So I think that was my crisp presentation from this side. And these are my contact details. I'll be very happy to receive questions those who are interested from my side. With that, I thank you for the opportunity again. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunil, for this very crispy presentation, exactly in the time, and also showing the experience of international collaboration your university already has. Our last speaker now is Dr. Usha Ramanathan from the Nottingham Trent University in the UK. Dr. Usha, please welcome, and could you kindly share your presentation?
Yes, thank you. And let me share my screen. Am I given
yes.
any?
There should be an option, share your screen.
Yes, I'm trying. Yeah. Give me a second, please. Yeah. Can you see this now?
No, we are not able to see right now.
Yeah.
Dr. Usha, if it's not possible, could you just already share the outline of your project idea with us? Since we are already at the end of the sessions. Oh yeah, now it's working. Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fine. So good morning, everybody. I've just started preparing this slide. I realized how important to share my viewpoint with you in order to get your support. Unfortunately, I can't see what you are seeing. Can you see the full screen?
No, you have to just, yeah, now we can see the full screen. Okay,
yeah.
Please go.
Okay, yes. I'm going to talk something about what I'm currently doing. Probably you can make use of my knowledge if you are planning to go for a new topical areas. I'm not restricting my research to one particular area of agriculture. Mine is slightly wider. When I started before a couple of years regarding precision farming, I realized there are quite a few potential in terms of relating producers with retailers. So I have done a few research with IIT Madras relating Wake-Cool retailers. Wake-Cool is also doing some other cold storage options. So this has been developed as a case study, and we checked how the simple technology can be used in order to reduce waste. The second project which I have taken up is solar sun drying. Some of you have already explained in technical terms. This is happening in Kalahasti. Kalahasti is closer to Tirupati. So this is another project that we are using a solar panel to dry the vegetables and make use of it for the future need. And precision farming is another aspect we are looking at currently. We are collaborating with two companies in India. Farm Again is one of the leading precision farming company, which is located in Coimbatore. We are trying to find out how resources can be saved in order to get productivity, higher level of productivity. And we are trying to make use of IoT and sensors in the farms to combat climate change impacts. Sometimes the humidity are very high in the field, so we are trying to monitor and reduce the use of water. Unnecessarily, we don't water the plants, and it's currently happening in Madurai for jasmine flowers. Jasmine is a plant which is highly valued in European market for flowers. However, jasmine farmers are really struggling to meet the expectations in terms of economical and social needs. One of my British Council project, which was conducted in 2018 in Brazil for short food supply chain, how to make use of the current logistical supply and less valued, that is low cost technology to create short food supply chain. How can you relate that short food supply chain with the global supply chain? That was completed project. And I'm also doing some continuation of previous project about how to reduce waste. How can I relate two different industries? One is textile industry, another one is food industry. Whether I can make use of one waste into ingredient for the other one. For example, mango pulp is being used for several purposes in India, such as creating cosmetic products. Flower colors are used for the natural colors, and some of the colors are very diluted if you are extracting from flowers, but it can be used in high volumes in order to create colors in cotton clothing. It's from Lucknow. So these are the industries we are connecting, food and textile. That's one opportunity for future funding. And Verband is the main concept of how to make use of resources from one industry to the other. So these are the projects which have been conducted or being conducted now. And our expertise in Nottingham Trent University is big data analysis, data analytics. It's whether it's live data or it's old historical data. Still, we'll be making the forecasting models. We are reducing waste in different industries. Agri supply chain is a current focus for me. Collaboration in general. If you look at my profile, if you look at my profile in the website of NT, Nottingham Trent University, I hope you'll appreciate that there are many papers which are focusing on collaborative supply chain. This is the main area. I can collaborate with anyone who is interested in agri-food supply chain, data analytics, IoT for reducing waste in the supply chain. That's all from me. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Yeah, it was a quick consideration of me to be included in the presentation. Thanks, Mr. Samrat Kumar.
Thank you, Professor Usha, for your presentation. And also, I think this is a very interesting expertise field you have. And I would like to thank all the presenters of today's webinar for, showing like real diversity of the topic and the potential of collaborating with partners from India and Europe. I would like to conclude this webinar session now and remind you that we will share the presentations of all the speakers with all the participants today. Also, the recording of this webinar will be made available, and also the contact details of all the participants. So there will be a lot of possibilities for you to network after the webinar. I would kindly ask Dr. Amit and Dr. Vivek and Tanya to come back on the screen, and ask Tanya for some concluding words for this webinar.
Right. Thank you very much, Samrat. And first of all, thank you also for fantastic moderation. Not easy with all our enthusiastic scientists, rich contributions, and all the information that has been shared. Yes, because as I said in the beginning, scientists, we need you. It's amazing how much work has been done, and yet how much challenges we still face. But I think what I see from these presentations is that through international cooperation, we can really go to the next level. And it was very rich, very good that each said what they would look at, what their strengths are, what they look at. And on this point, I would like to say something. I heard several presenters saying, yes, so here is my competence. I'm looking for partners. Let me know. No, it's not the way it works. You have to be proactive. They will not come to you. You go to international partners. That is unfortunately the way it goes, in the sense that we have this event, and you think that the whole world has heard you. No, we're still in a limited closed club. But we have a lot of tools, and Vivek shared them with you, we have also partners in Europe that have expressed interest, so you have to see on matching expertise. We have tools to search partners, but start also with your peers. You all have done research, not in isolation, very international, and look with your international partners, because they probably, just like you, are looking at Horizon, but they may not think that DBT has been so generous in co-funding you, so they may forget about this possibility that there is scope to take Indian scientists on board. And as you demonstrated, you have huge stock of livestock, of milk, of poultry, of forest, and all kinds. So you are a value added for Europe, also for the testing, for the demonstration, and to build up on your expertise. So I would say this is only our first step, this awareness raising. The clock is ticking. We have to be on time in submitting the proposals. It needs to fit in a comprehensive, balanced consortium. So first thing is to look for partners indeed. And then once you have kind of a consortium, you feel there is trust and there is complementarity in the knowledge, you will have just enough time to submit your proposal on time. It is, I repeat, one proposal, one submission, and also I saw some questions. It's also one evaluation. Again, that is an understanding of the co-funding that we have with India, that it will be the Horizon 2020 peer review. And then once we have the results, they will be presented to DBT, who have reserved their right to look at the eligibility, the fundability, and also the added value that the Indian consortium brings to the consortium. But and I speak under control of Dr. Amit, who is listening, I can see very carefully. It's as always, but in particular when it comes to this evaluation, it's not a re-evaluation. It is within the parameters of our evaluation, and the aim is to keep, to respect, of course, that peer review. I also repeat myself with respect to funding and eligibility of participation and funding for the Indian participants. It is the DBT rules that apply. So with all this richness, with all these fantastic contributions from both sides, we've set the first step, thanks to the fantastic support of Eraccess and of Vivek and of Amit. And it's over to you again. But we are here if you have more questions, if you're looking for partners, but we have shared already the tools. So best of luck. As I said, we need you, and we really are looking forward to having good proposals from your side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanya, for summarizing and stressing the main point that you have to be proactive and you have to make this call happen for your institution. And the EU delegation and the Department of Biotechnology are there to support you in this process. And thanks again to all the presenters. Thanks you attendees for staying on for a very long webinar session, but I think it was truly worth it. And wishing you all a nice evening here in India and a nice afternoon in Europe. And yeah, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much. Goodbye to everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for arranging. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Oh, so interesting. We have to go for it now.
Thank you. Yeah.